I've used a lot of phones. I've used a lot of phones from iPhone to Pixel to Samsung. And I've been trying to figure out which one fits me. Fits the one that I can just still be on Android without giving up or compromising on something. And the surprising answer to that was Samsung. But how did we get here? How did we find ourselves back to Samsung? Let me tell you all about it. I had the iPhone XR at the beginning, and it was a really good phone. It had a glass back, glass front, so it felt more premium, really nice, really just a huge upgrade from the Galaxy J6 Plus that I had from before. Then I had a lot of great features on it, like a notch and Apple Pay and being part of the Apple ecosystem, and it just being faster and being a more premium device. But there's a lot of things I did miss, like a wide angle camera, night sight. That was one of the things I really wanted from other phones, and a better display and a better processor. So I, against my family's wishes, upgraded to the iPhone 12 mini, and I really liked that phone. It had a small display, small AMOLED display, but it was plenty fast, it was plenty bright, and it performed really well. But the battery wasn't super great because it was smaller, and the iPhone 12 mini was notorious for not having the great battery optimization like it would for the iPhone 13 mini, or really any mini for that matter. And then came with it also the problem of storage, with only like 64 gigabytes of storage. And I had the phone for a while and I really liked it. So then I upgraded to the iPhone 14 Pro. That phone was great. Like, it had a triple lens camera system that could shoot in a cinematic video, as Apple would call it. It was awesome. And then there was also, what else? It had the dynamic island, which I really liked. It had a 120 hertz refresh rate that I will literally not ever go back to again. And then it also had what else did it have? I mean, it had a better display and better battery compared to the iPhone 12 mini. And it was also just a really premium phone. And I honestly didn't feel like to upgrade at all. Like, the iPhone 14 Pro really lasted me a while. But then I broke it because it got ran over by a car, and I dropped it, and then it got ran over by a car. Crazy story. So then I was like, you know what? Well, here's what happened. The phone broke, and I was like, I gotta go get this repaired. So I went kind of a dirt cheap, easy route rather than the Apple official way route, which, by the way, if you ever have an iPhone, you probably should go to Apple certified repair or Apple themselves to repair your phone. It may cost you an arm and a leg, but it's way better. You won't have a display that's a third party, that's not very good, that won't have the 120 hertz refresh rate, or just look bad. So yeah, I was then met with a very interesting opportunity. I could ditch the iPhone experience and go to Samsung. I could go to Pixel. I could go be a part of Android for once. So I chose the Galaxy S24 Ultra. And honestly, I really liked that phone. I was like, it had a beautiful display, great battery life, performed awesomely. And I loved it. And the camera with the zoom, like, I could zoom in on things that nobody else could, and especially at like concerts and other stuff. So it was awesome. But I didn't like its camera so much for its color science. I didn't like that about Samsung stuff. And I also really didn't like just really the camera. That really bothered me a lot. And then Samsung introduced like a new software update and kind of nuked the battery. So I was like, okay, cool. I want to go switch maybe back to iPhone. I didn't know what else to switch to. So then I switched over to the Pixel. And I actually really liked that phone. I liked it. I switched to the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and it really fulfilled everything. It had a way better camera. The battery life was good, not even that bad. And I really loved just the Google's take on Android. It was perfect. I really liked it. And so then I upgraded to the Pixel 10 Pro, and I have to say that was really good too. I love MagSafe. Please, Samsung, do MagSafe. Everyone wants that. And I really like that. But even though I liked the Pixel, the problem with the Pixel is this. No matter how much I love the cameras or the software or even the hardware, I just didn't feel like I was having a really reliable device. I felt like the phone was slightly slower compared to most of its of the competition. I felt like the phone just didn't have the right amount of endurance for battery life, and it gave me like real anxiety about it. So I made the ultimate decision to go back to Samsung because I was like, I want something reliable on every aspect. And I especially wanted that for the battery and the performance. But one of the biggest concerns was the camera. You see, I'm a content creator a little bit. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about the Disney parks and I talk about it at great lengths. And for B-roll, I just use my phone and I just record the parks. And so I was obsessing over it. The iPhone was awesome because you can just add in a LUT, make it look good, and it was great. But with the Pixel or with the Samsung, you'd have to color correct it to make sure it looks better. And now with Samsung, you can do LUTs natively, which is awesome. But anyway, point that I'm trying to make is that I was obsessive with the color correction. And I was also obsessive about the LUTs. I'd go in there, make sure it looks good, and make sure that all the details are right. And I had to do that right. But I bet you didn't notice that throughout that entire segment of me talking about color correction, I used footage from like 4 different phones. I used it from the 12 mini, the 14 Pro, the S24 Ultra, and the Pixel 9 Pro, and then the 10 Pro, and the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. Bet you didn't even notice a difference. And that's the funny thing. I was really expecting a comment section or a comment that would say, oh wow, your video looks like crap because I didn't have the right camera or the right like details to it. But no, like I've posted a lot of my other YouTube videos on different social media platforms like YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. And what's surprising is that no one has said that. They're way more invested in what I have to say. They're way more invested about the storytelling and everything. That's the beauty about TikTok or YouTube. Social media doesn't need you to have the best camera. They need you to have a good storytelling, to make whatever you have to say, you have to make that interesting. You have to make that unique to the audience. So really, in reality, it didn't even matter. And when I had a comparison side by side of the Pixel, to the Samsung's to the iPhone, it was pretty close, surprisingly, with just not even that big of a difference. I was kind of shocked. The colors were a little different, but it wasn't so bad that I was like, I hate it. You know what I mean? That really put me to rest. That meant that this phone, which is the Galaxy S26 Ultra that I'm recording this on, it didn't matter about camera. So yeah, I think for right now, I'm going to stick with Samsung because Samsung is just reliable consistently. They got great battery life, great specs, and it really shows that in the software experience. And they have a great camera that can do really well for most of what it does. And it also has a really good just ecosystem of accessories that you can also deal with too, just saying. So that's why I wanted to stick with Samsung. If you're really curious about what you should get as a content creator or whatever, I would say the best option, of course, is the iPhone. If you want to just have the best content creator thing, then go with an iPhone. But second would probably be Samsung, that if you want something different, but also to have something just as reliable and just as dependable. But if you want something that feels more like an iPhone and you're willing to live with some compromises, then you should go with the Pixel. So that's my phone journey. I know it's kind of crazy all over the place, but I hope it makes sense. I hope it's really informative. So that's all that I have to say, and I'll see y'all in the next one.